Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Pentagon report finds 77% of young Americans are ineligible for military service. An estimated 321,000 Americans are qualified and inclined to join the military. I play that not because it's comical. Is because I don't think people understand how serious this is. We have the most powerful military in the world. Over 3/4 of young people between 17 and 24 are ineligible for service. By the way, those of you that are looking to start the rumors around for a civil war, I would imagine that most of the people, the young people that are eligible, are probably in rural areas. So if there's so-called civil war breaks out in pockets around the country, it won't take long for the woke snowflakes in the big cities to cave. Welcome back, thought criminals. Before we get started, I want to say YouTube has got my channel under a really, really tough thumb is right on me. The algorithm, I was doing really well for a while, getting between 20 and 30 new subs every day. Now I'm lucky to get 5, 6, 7. And they've cut back on my impressions so people see my videos. I hear subscribers aren't getting notifications. Anything you can do, use the link, use the URL, spread the word on your social media. A link to this video everywhere you can will help get around YouTube censorship. Let's read on from Timcast. Yeah, this is serious. The majority of Americans between 17 and 24 would not qualify to join the military without obtaining a waiver, according to a new study commissioned by the Department of Defense. Are ineligible due to drug use or health issues, including weight. Imagine that. When considering youth disqualified for one reason alone, the most prevalent disqualification rates are overweight, 11%, drug and alcohol abuse, 8%. Frankly, I thought they'd be higher, so that's a little encouraging, actually. And medical physical health, 7%, states the study, which was obtained by military.com. Additionally, 4% of potential recruits are disqualified for mental health-related reasons. I thought that would be a lot higher. Frankly, I think people screaming, we're all going to die in the next 10 years from climate change. I think that's a mental illness, frankly, but I digress. 1% were disqualified because of aptitude. I thought they would be higher, too. That's actually encouraging. Conduct or for being a dependent. I thought that would be a lot higher. The majority of young Americans, 44%, were disqualified from joining the military for one or more reasons. And it goes through the list. Showed that 71% of 17 to 24-year-olds needed a waiver to join the military in 2017. So this has been going on for a while. Now, my understanding is the Marines and the Navy are making their recruitment goals, just barely, but they're making them. Now, I spent some time in the Navy in the 1950s. I, unfortunately, have not served in the military. I wish I had. I was going to join the Navy when I was 18. I changed my mind. I'll be 66 next month. My life would have been a lot different and a lot better. But I digress. We all could go back and make changes if we could. At that time, obesity, 11%, drug and alcohol abuse, 8%, and medical or physical issues, 7%, were most common. In May, Army Chief of Staff General James McConville testified for Congress that 23% of Americans between 17 and 24 are qualified. I'll just scroll through this. This is alarming as well. The Air Force, which has not missed a recruitment goal since 1999, was predicted not to reach that goal of enlisting 50,000 airmen. National Guard and Reserves also expected to miss recruitment goals. The Army had met roughly 40% of its enlistments recruiting goal for the 2022 fiscal year, which ends on September 30th, which is the day before yesterday. While it had recruited 80% of its needed reservists and 93% of its needed officers, the Coast Guard is just reaching 55% of its active duty enlistment goals by 6 months into the year. Yeah, The Space Force, active duty Navy, and active duty Marines were both projected to meet their goals for 2022. Yeah, Navy and Space Force. Technically, the Marines are under the purview of the Navy, even though they don't like it. And that's very good. That's very good. In addition to COVID-19, the growing disconnect and declining favorable view between the U.S. population and traditional institutions, yeah, the woke morons at everything that's an institution in our country, whether it be the Constitution, military service, religious institutions, marriage, monogamy, all the lists of the things that have kept cultures intact, they're trying to destroy. So this is not a big shocker. High inflation, the population of you does not see the value of military service, also continue to drain recruiting efforts and place the Marine Corps accession mission at risk. Yeah. Yep. I'll just scroll through this. You don't need to read all of it, but every single metric tracking the military recruiting environment is going in the wrong direction. In most cases, we're seeing the worst numbers in the last few decades. Now, the story goes, you don't want to draft. Now, Vietnam proved that. The casualty rate's higher when you have draftees rather than people that enlist. It's a mental thing. They really want to be in the military. A lot of people that were drafted weren't, because a lot of them weren't in college in the 1970s, so they were drafted. And a lot of the rich kids, their parents, used their influence to get them out. And, it's tough. A senior fellow for the American Enterprise Institute wrote in August that 321,000, or 1% of the total age-eligible population, both qualified and inclined to join the military. That's pretty bad. She also noted that the low trust in the government COVID-19 vaccination requirements and the tragic failure in Afghanistan and the broader long wars in the Middle East. Wars that have no end and wars that have no point, as well as increasing politicization of the military, all contribute to decline. Yeah, we just had it was a trans woman being arrested for treason, giving medical records of, my understanding, it was high-ranking officers to an undercover, thinking that person was a Russian agent. Yeah. It was major, by the way, the first trans person to be in the military, to go above to a decent rank. I'm not just stating the facts. You can draw your own conclusions. This means reforming military culture that disincentivizes enlistment, actually providing a quality of life and pay for service members, focusing more attention on enlisted troops across the armed services, rebuilding a closer relationship of trust and support with the American public. The veterans have been crapped on. They have been for a very long time. We're giving billions for student debt. That money, if we were going to use it at all, student debt is like item 812 of the list that needs money. Many, many, many young families where one of the husband or the wife is in the military are on food stamps. That's disgusting. Anyway, folks, before I rant some more, I just wanted to tell you that we're having some trouble. We're having some trouble. We have weak-minded and physically minded youth. I hope we can turn this around. I think we can. Until the next time, goodbye and good luck.